Today's video is sponsored by Forever Pick, exotic wood guitar picks. Handmade one at a time in Chicago, Illinois, you can choose from a selection of exotic woods that will actually improve your guitar's tone. Take advantage of an exclusive 25% off coupon when you buy the full 6-pack at the link in the description. And remember, when you support my sponsors, you support this channel, and I sure appreciate it. Alright, what's up dudes? Brad the Guitologist here. I need to review this Glary instrument that was sent to me the other day. We're going to unbox it, take a look at it. They reached out to me first, and I just said, okay, well, send it along, and I'll take a look at it. And here it is, and we're going to unbox it. I will put this video up on channel 2. Alright. Yeah, the other thing I really need to do down here is clean this space. This is just... It's become kind of junky down here. I've got stuff strewn everywhere. This is not how I like to operate, especially in an area that I share with the kids a lot as well. They have their toys and stuff down here too, and I've just kind of destroyed this space right now. But anyway, there it is. It's a real workspace, so deal with it. All right. Same as before, I did a Strat copy from these guys before. And same as that, we have a gig bag, so that's cool. And as you guys can probably already see, this is a Telecaster copy this time, which I'm somewhat excited about actually. You guys know I'm a big Tele fan. Then I got a pick in there with the strap, cable. Comes with a bar on a Tele. Okay, they just gave you the bar. I think they just probably throw that in every single one because it has the cable, and the bar is just kind of, it's pennies anyway. So I'm gonna get this out of here. Hang on. Okay, so extraction successful, and I'll tell you what, man, this is a pretty good looking guitar, really. One thing I want to correct too on the Strat that I reviewed, I kept saying that, the pick guard looked like it had scratches on it, and it did not have a plastic coating on it, but it actually did have a plastic coating. I was an idiot. I started peeling that a little further later on, and I did discover it had a plastic coating. But this one, you can see some scratches here, but that's not real scratches. That's just on the, looks like it's probably just on the plastic. Let's see, we have some barrel saddles. They're not brass, but what do you expect? This is another one of those very inexpensive guitars. I don't know exactly how inexpensive, but it's pretty damn cheap. I'm thinking it's same kind of price range, about in the $60 to $70 range, which is just dirt cheap. The neck on this is very similar to the Strat that I had. There's a little burr or something right there. I don't know what it is. Feeling my finger. Maybe a piece of errant glue or something, perhaps. But yeah, like I said, it looks like a decent piece of wood. It's unfinished, so if you wanted to tongue oil this neck or something like that, you could. I'd give it probably a light sand first, and then come back and tongue oil this. I love that grain right there, the way that I like the way it looks. I'm not so sure that it's kind of naughty in nature right there.
Oh, it's for other P, it's for people scratch a temple. The last P, well, that's not that simple.
Not naughty by nature, but naughty in nature. They changed the shape of the headstock. I think we've discussed that before in the comments on the Strat, because I had waited so long to review the Strat that by the time I got around to it, they had actually changed the style of the headstock away from Fender. Probably got some letters of cease and desist from Fender, I'm guessing. But, I'll tell you, as far as the weight and everything of this, it's similar in weight to the Strat. Slide down the neck here. Neck looks pretty good. Might need a little bit of a tweak, but it looks pretty good. There's no fret sprout to speak of. There's none at all, actually. There's a little bit of a dent right there on the... Where is it? There it is, right there. You can see it. Oh, come on. Come on. Focus.
Focus.
That's what I was thinking.
Anyway, right there on that, by that fret marker, you can kind of see it right there. It's a little bit of a dent. Nothing major. You know, like I said, I have to really commend Glary. I don't know how they make money on this stuff, really. This is just dirt cheap. The finish is pretty good. I don't see any real major flaws. I mean, there's a little something right. No, it came right off. There's a little bit of a dent right there, which is not. It's nothing really. That's nothing. Yeah, this is pretty damn good, I have to say. That cut right there, you see there's a little squiggle right there, almost as if the machine just left the cut just a little bit squonky right there, but that's not a huge deal. It's not really any deal to me. I don't care. Good looking guitar. I love black tellies. There's just something about a black Telecaster. I don't know what it is. I love it with the maple fretboard. And yeah, it just looks great, man. The fretboard looks good. You see the wood grain in there. Nice looking. The frets. I can already tell the frets aren't great, but they're not abysmal. You can kind of hear it when I move the string back and forth there. You can kind of hear it somewhat scratchy. That means the frets are not, they're not highly polished, but they are good enough. Probably if you were learning on this and this was your first guitar, it wouldn't matter all that much. But for somebody like me, I'm just kind of picky. And well, you can see right there, it looks like it might have some glue residue or something on there. I'm not sure what it is, but you can see the discoloration. See there? I'm not sure what that is. If that's some kind of corrosion or discoloration. That could be polished out, though, relatively easy if you have the know-how and the tools to do it. Not a lot of people do have that, so you have to take that into account, you know, that you might want to take it to somebody and have that done. The nut is plastic. They would really upgrade the... You know what? China sells really, really cheap bone nuts also. You can get those through certain websites. A lot of times on eBay, you can get bone nut blanks that can be used for Stratocasters, Telecasters, and stuff like that. I would definitely recommend changing that to bone from that plastic. That would probably be the first upgrade I made, and then the second upgrade would likely be the electronics, but we haven't even tested these electronics yet. These are going to be different electronics than the ones that were in the Strat, because of course we've got a Telecaster style set of pickups here, and those are just different overall than Strats anyway. So we'll see how these pickups hold up. If they're anything like the Strat that I reviewed, and I'll put a card up here somewhere if you want to check that review out, they will probably be fairly microphonic. Not all that great sounding, but you know, passable. That's about all you can say about them. We do have a three-way selector, just like a Tele normally is. Volume and tone, I'm assuming. It's probably the volume here. You know, one thing about a Telecaster that's just one thing I've never liked. I wish they would extend this control plate a little bit further, perhaps, and get the switch away from the knob, because you know, if you're in the middle of something and you have to switch that switch right there, it's not always the easiest thing to do, to get your finger right there to switch that. It just a little bit more space when it's in that position would have been nice. Maybe even moving this back a little bit just from the original design. So that's one thing I've never really cared for on a Telecaster, but I do like Telecasters in general. Yeah, the neck on the sides right here, for whatever reason, right in this area, feels a little bit rough. I don't know if that's sanding. I think it's sanding. I don't know, just right in here. Yeah. See there? Maybe it's a couple little dents as well. But that could be taken out with a little bit of sanding. It's a bit rough right in here as well, up on the top side of the fretboard. Just some roughness. But yeah, little flaws like that, I mean, I expect all day long. I will say, you know, to Glary, you know, with all due respect, I do not like the Glary name for whatever reason. You know, it just doesn't really appeal to me. And that logo is just really, really, you got to do something about that logo, Glary. I think if you were to, you could even keep the Glary name perhaps, and do something about the logo. Maybe spruce it up a little bit, just make it a little more attractive. I don't know. It's just kind of silly looking, almost like a kid came up with it. And you've even trademarked it too, so that's, you know, whatever. But it's just doesn't strike my fancy. That's the one thing. As far as appearance, it's a great looking guitar. I mean, I do love the black. Like I said, love black Telecasters. We've got, it's not a string through though. This is not a string through. This is a string from the rear of the bridge. So that's, you know, I understand why they did it, because it would have taken probably a little bit longer for them to get that part right. It would have limited the placement of the bridge. You know, there's several reasons why you would do this, but it always is going to get better sustain, better stability and everything if you string through. But, you know, like I said, it is what it is. It's a cheaper guitar, but it would have been nice. And you would have also had to place ferrules back here for the strings, and that would have been a little bit more of an expense, which again is understandable when you're trying to sell a guitar in the $60 to $70 range. I mean, you're going to have some limitations to try to stay at that price point, so I get that. But anyway, there is an overview of the thing. Let's give it a little bit of a test. Okay, the first thing I want to point out is that these pickups are just very, very noisy. You'll see what I mean. The electronics in general. Look at this. Highly microphonic. Middle position helps a little bit, but... And actually this one, this pickup, the neck pickup, is low output compared to the other one. It's probably going to be hard to tell that because there's compression leading into the camera, so I mean it's going to be difficult to tell the difference in volume, but I can surely tell it here. This is a much weaker pickup. It's not very well matched with the bridge one. So what I would probably want to do to compensate for that is lower this pickup a little bit, maybe raise this pickup a little bit, and try to split the difference in volume somehow if I was going to keep these pickups. But I mean, the ultimate solution would be to change these, because I mean, just because of how microphonic they are anyway. I mean, that right there is pretty unacceptable, to be honest, if you're taking it on stage. Now, I mean, if you're going to record with it, maybe to get a track or something, if you want kind of a unique sound. And certainly for practice, if you're a beginner, it might be okay, but this is, I mean, unacceptable for live performance. But anyway, I just wanted to point that out. notes just kind of die. Whereas right now. Switch over to the clean channel. Oh, and by the way, I'm using a Marshall DSL 50 dual super lead head for the demonstration here. I've got a Fender cabinet with some Eminence speakers in it, and using an old Electro-Voice microphone. I think it's a 635 is the model on that. Yeah, I'll show it down in the description. Anyway, you get the idea. I mean, it's I could put on total clean here for just a second. That's another thing too. I have stretched and stretched these strings. I have retuned this thing several times. These tuners are very not good. That's another thing I don't like about it. So, you know, I mean, if you wanted it to be its best, you might change the tuners out. Also, when I got it, I don't think the intonation is very on either, and plus it doesn't help that it it just needs an overall setup. And yes, I know it's out of tune right now. I'm just tired of tuning it. that is a Glary Telecaster copy. If you want one of these things, I will put a link down in the description where you can go get one. They're like, I don't know, 60 bucks, something like that. Which, I mean, for the money is just a real steal, to be honest. I mean, you could change the pickups, change the nuts, maybe change the tuners, and just those three things alone would go a long way toward making this a really great guitar for a beginner. I mean, it's passable as it is, but you definitely want to make some upgrades if you were going to play it seriously. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have, hit subscribe down below. And for now, you all take care.